you can basically do anything with synthetic RNA, DNA. It's like a computer program. So, I mean, I think with enough, with effort, that's not too crazy. You could probably stop aging, reverse it if you want. You could turn someone into a freaking butterfly if you want with the right DNA sequence.
DNA is a storage medium. In other words, it's a hard drive. You're a walking hard drive, your body. 1 gram of DNA, this is science, peer-reviewed science, by the way, guys. 1 gram of DNA, which is enough to put a little tiny drop on the tip of your finger, can store 700 terabytes of data. I'm not talking about, etherical data or mystical data. I'm talking about real zeros and ones that make your phone work and make your computer work. Zeros and one bits of data, zeros and ones, can be stored on DNA.
DNA is highly programmable, just like a computer, and we can program a whole range of complex behaviors using DNA molecules.
DNA is the hard drive, the memory in every cell of every living organism is a digital storage medium. It's a sequence of a discrete alphabet of 4 letters, and if we could manipulate some DNA, we could put a message in there.
So these scientists, the main one, George Church and Chris Shuri, those two actually together are partners and scientists, they discovered this and they downloaded one of their books, one of their ebooks onto the DNA, and then they uploaded it from the DNA back to the server again. They was like, whoa, wait a minute. You can encode digital bits of information directly onto DNA and upload it back again. What does that mean? Well, we're walking USB drives, literally. Now, here's what's really amazing about that. They then took that same ebook, downloaded it back to the DNA again, and they said, let's see how much we can go. They replicated the book 70 billion times in 1 gram of DNA. 70 billion copies of an ebook in 1 gram. It went up 433 petabytes of data. That would be enough hard drives, if we were using conventional hard drives, to fill up this whole park. Think about that. In one tiny drop inside of your body right now, you can store 13.5 billion years of data. Ironically, that's how old the universe is. So, you are the universe. You literally have all the information stored in your body from the beginning of time until this very moment, inside of you. So when people say the universe is in you, it's not just a figure of speech. Like, the universe is really in you, because all bits of data and particles, all bits of particles are all recycled over and over. All atoms are recycled. Everything is recycled. Everything that was here from the beginning is here right now. Nothing's been added. Nothing's been removed. Due to the law of thermodynamics, energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. You're just here right now in this particular form at this particular moment. But all the information in your DNA will go back, if you had the capability of decoding it, will allow you to find this out. So we know that DNA is a storage medium and it can store a massive amount of information. This is very, very important for you to understand. And like I said, on 1 gram of DNA, 433 petabytes of data. I don't know if you know what a petabyte is, but it's a massive amount of information. But let's take it to the next step now. Now they have discovered that epigenetic memories can be passed down 14 generations inside of DNA. Memories. So you're wondering why you feel fear of this and fear of that, or you have a phobia of this or a phobia of that, or you feel strongly about this and not so strongly about that. It's not because it runs in your family. It's because it's in your DNA. Memories are in your DNA. So what does this have to do with us? Well, we're looking at an entire race of people on this planet that have been literally enslaved. Every single race. Every single race on this planet has been enslaved. Now, in more recent times, we've had one race try to enslave other races more than others. But, however, you have to understand this. We're all still slaves in the matrix. It's an illusion to the ones who think that they did the enslaving. Yes, they did it, but it's still an illusion. You know why? We've all been enslaved. Every single person on this planet is a slave right now at this moment. But we can break out of it, and that's what we're going to go over today. And one of the most important things, I think, when you have to understand when you're dealing with people that have been oppressed in like even more recent times. So I just said epigenetic memories go 14 generations. Well, think about that for a minute. If you look at, for example, African Americans, We've only gone out of slavery for a generation. So if you see somebody that's stressing, that's under pressure, that's feeling the negative effects of what happened in the past, you can't just wipe it away and say, it's over now, you should forget about it. Because what they're truly doing is they're suffering internally. It's an internal thing, and it's not going to go away immediately. It's going to take some time to do what? Reprogram. We have to reprogram the DNA. This goes for a lot of the people that have been enslaved on this planet over many generations. 14 generations is quite a bit of time, but at the same time, it's a short period of time. But we're just now coming out of different types of slavery on this planet, and it's not going to go away in the blink of an eye. So you have to understand that. Now, how does this work with the law of attraction? What does DNA have to do with the law of attraction? It has a lot to do with the law of attraction, actually, because the law of attraction is actually initiated through the DNA. And how many people here have ever heard somebody say, I get a download? People say, I get a download. Don't laugh at those people, because they're really getting a download. And, you know, I've seen people laugh before and chuckle when people walk away. Let me tell you something. You don't understand quantum. If you think it's funny, you don't understand quantum mechanics. But anyway, scientists have also found out now that DNA sends and receives wireless signals, wireless information. We have a built-in Wi-Fi system in our bodies already. So, and it's just broadcasted between 8 to 10 feet away from the human body. So all times of day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we're all downloading information directly from the ether of space-time itself. And what's in the ether of space-time? Remember, a human being can only see on a very small spectrum of light. So what we're seeing right now is literally just part of the hologram. Just part of the hologram. Everything else, there's trillions and trillions of electromagnetic waves passing in you, through you, and out of you at this existing very moment right now as I'm speaking. That's all everything is electromagnetic waves. That's all that really exists. Besides that and consciousness, those two things collapse together and create what we call matter. So right now, we can't see these other waves of light, but they're there. But what's happening is if the DNA in your body is oscillating at a specific frequency that matches a frequency of an electromagnetic wave that's already out there, you can download information from that wave. What do waves carry? They carry information. Electromagnetic waves carry information. What I'm giving you guys is real peer-reviewed science. Write it down and go look it up and research it. All the information contained in the entire universe is passing in us all around us at all times. There is no original idea. If you're just sitting around going, man, I have a great idea, I'm gonna invent so-and-so. Not really. What happened was you got on the right frequency and you downloaded the information directly from the universe. There's a professor called James S. Gates Jr. He's a former professor at the University of Maryland. He's at a much smaller college now. He was also the scientific advisor to President Obama in that era. But he's a specialist in supersymmetry and theoretical physics. And this guy is one of the leaders in this in the world. He's not just some guy who plays around with this. He's the leader. He gets together this super team of quantum physicists, and they start digging into the ether of space-time to figure out what is floating in us and around us. What is this space-time? What is space? And he discovers that it operates on something called Adinkra codes. And these Adinkra codes can be traced back to the Dogon tribe in Mali, Africa, who actually were the original Egyptians from the land of Kem. They later migrated out to Mali. But they have these codes. These codes represent, they're flat codes on cloth, but when you take them into a third dimension, they represent sophisticated numerical mathematics that depict something called error correcting codes in our modern science. And these error correcting codes are what run search engine browsers and websites. So what is governing the function of our space-time reality in the third dimension is a software program that runs websites and search engines. This is peer-reviewed science, guys. So this is how powerful you are. So what's happening is you're syncing up with information that's already on the net, and it's downloading into your body, and you're processing that. But that's the Wi-Fi part of it. So with the law of attraction, what happens is the law of attraction is not just something. And you have a lot of people hear you, oh, law of attraction, I'm going to use the law of attraction, but they really don't know how to utilize it the proper way. And it's a real powerful tool to use in your life. And if you really, truly understand the law of attraction, you're going to make your life so much easier. It goes along, though, with the reprogramming process. You have to begin to start the reprogram. If you want it to work consistently, you can make it work by accident here or there, spot it. But if you want it to work consistently, you got to continue to reprogram your DNA. And then you have to understand one other thing, quantum entanglement. But in quantum entanglement, which is something in real physics, it's where you use something called parabolic down conversion to get two photons or two particles on the same frequency. So once you get two particles on the same frequency, you could take one particle to the other end of the universe if you had the capability of getting it there. And the particle that's local to you, you can change the information in it, put data on it, and the other particle will change instantaneously, bypassing the speed of light. What does this prove? The thing that I said in the beginning. Distance is an illusion. There is no distance. Separation is an illusion. Matter of fact, there's 7.5 billion people on this planet. If I were to take all of the empty space out of your atoms, I can fit all 7.5 billion people into a sugar cube. It's just an illusion, guys. It's a hologram. It's all consciousness and waves out there. It's really all that exists. But back to the law of attraction. So what happens in the law of attraction is once you understand how quantum entanglement works, and scientists now have discovered that the brain, the neurons in the brain, phase in and out of the third dimensional reality. Look it up. I always give you real science that you can research for yourself. So your neurons, between your synapses, are actually phasing in and out of the third dimension. Where are they going? They're communicating with other realms and other dimensions, syncing and quantum entangling with particles and thoughts in other places. So when you understand this, now you go, oh wow. When you look into the ancient tablets, especially in the Emerald Tablets, which is why I wrote my book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, the biggest part of my book is where Thoth is talking about the power of manifestation through meditation and thought. And he's literally talking about how to sync with the universal consciousness through something else, which I've labeled the Christ consciousness. So the Christ consciousness doesn't mean you're syncing up with Jesus Christ. What it means is you're syncing up with the idea, the concept of this higher level of consciousness that exists out there in space-time. So when you yourself are aligning yourself properly with the universe, vibrating on a high frequency, and what does that mean, vibrating on a high frequency? That means you're thinking with love, not thinking with hate. You're thinking with power and love, and not fear and weakness. And when you do that, that puts your DNA scientifically at a high frequency. This has been done in laboratories. They've taken DNA, they've analyzed a person's thought patterns through caps that they put on with electrodes, and they've got them looking at photos that show people getting murdered, then a photo of a field of flowers, then a photo of somebody hugging a child, and then a photo of somebody getting beat up. And they analyze those thought patterns in a laboratory, and this is how they learn this. So at specific times when you're feeling the mode of fear, the DNA, there's a frequency that oscillates over your DNA. It covers a very wide band, and it covers less of your DNA. In a high frequency love mode, the frequency oscillates much faster, and they're hence much closer together, and more of the frequency is touching your DNA strand, which means you're operating at a high frequency. This is real science. It's not like, oh man, these people just got up here and talking about this aliens and frequencies and all this stuff. They don't know what they're talking about. No, I'm talking about real, peer-reviewed quantum physics and quantum mechanics. It's important for you to know, because when you tell people about this stuff, they're like, you're a weirdo. But when you can back it up with science, they got to sit down and listen. So now, okay, you're saying, I want to manifest this I want to manifest a spouse into my life, for example. Let's just go with that. I'm using my own personal example. Okay. So I want to manifest a spouse into my life that's operating in the same frequency that I'm operating, that's moving in the same way that I'm moving, because I tried it before where one person's going this way and another person's going that way. It didn't work out. I did it twice. I'm going, man, I'm beating myself up. What am I doing here? Not that person was all wrong or that I was all wrong, but it just wasn't a perfect match on the frequency level. And I want somebody that's going to be able to not be perfect, because that's highly impossible, but somebody that at least just has understanding for the work that I do and the time that I put out and the people I have to meet and so forth and so on. So I start focusing on this in meditations. I start focusing on envisioning not a face, not a body, just a spirit light being that is in full agreement and movement in what I'm looking to do and accomplish on this planet. Okay? So now, because I'm doing that and I'm feeling this love frequency, this vibration and happiness in the meditation, I'm now operating at a higher level. Now I'm syncing up with the Christ consciousness. The Christ consciousness is going to carry that photonic or that particle energy to sync up with the universal consciousness on a quantum entanglement. And now I'm quantum entangled directly with the flower of life, which is the face of God. And now what happens is, just like in standard physics, when you have a globe in space and you see space warps around the globe because of the theory of relativity, Einstein's theory of relativity. Now replace the globe Earth with your consciousness, with your mind. Your mind is literally, now that it's quantum entangled, it's warping space-time. It's warping the ether of space itself. And now things that you're looking for are falling, because what happens to a body in space that warps space? Things fall toward it. Now the things that you want in life are starting to fall towards you. You're creating your own quantum entanglement. You're creating the law of attraction. Now you have things falling directly towards you. And this is how the law of attraction works. You literally create a gravity well, so to speak, that things happen to fall towards you. And as you begin to operate in this mode, it then begins to happen subconsciously, where you're not even having to directly focus. As the universe knows what you need, if you're operating in the right frequency, those things will just occur in your life and pop up for you. But the point that I'm trying to make to you is this. We have the capability to reprogram ourselves. DNA is a storage medium. It's extremely, extremely powerful. And because we have the capability to reprogram ourselves, we can change the future generations on this planet. We can help heal people. There's a lot of people on this planet that need healing.